Hello, we're back again. Yes, I had a coffee. Well, no, it was tea actually, because I'm cleansing. How are we all? I'll just wait for a few people to jump online and get ready for the reading. I've been writing my notes down because I've had lots of downloads the last 48 hours. How many do we have? 1. Cool. Hi. Anyone who's new, welcome. We're going to do an update for the collective energy for the lunar eclipse. I'm in Perth, WA. Hi Heidi, how are you? Hi Maureen. So I'm a bit further ahead time frame wise. So our lunar eclipse is set to kick off at 1:45 a.m. So it's 9:44 a.m. here. Yeah, well, it's quite strange. I think, look, some of you are going to be feeling, hi Adam, some of you are going to be feeling really strange, almost a bit too grounded, and you'll be like, this is really weird. Why am I feeling this way? It will increase in energy as your day progresses. So mine this morning, I think last night I was feeling fairly tired, had a purge. And then I woke up fairly late. I was extremely tired. Oh, Heidi. It's all divinely guided, hun. If you need to, you need to. As the day progresses, moving into it for you guys, what you may find is some of you feel okay, some of you don't. Some of you might find you feel a little bit anxious. And definitely by the evening for me, the heart chakra is insane. It's I did a bit of meditation last night, so if you have time, do a meditation and channel into join with your twin, and yeah, do some healing work. The funny thing was, upon meditation, hi Hardly, how are you, Dal? Yeah, upon meditation, it was quite strange, some of the things I was seeing. It was almost like moving, flowing energy in the sky. It was very peaceful. And some of us are feeling extremely peaceful, connected to this flow. So it depends on the way you're looking at it. It ultimately is going to feel like a death of yourself, a death of a soul, or an old chapter, however you want to look at it. But it's the beginning of a new one. So it's very sad. I think some of us are feeling quite sad because you're sort of coming to the point where it's the old notion of out with the old, in with the new. But the difference is, on this occasion, around where we are in the journey, we very much have come to a place where we're releasing the chapter, we're releasing the expectation. So it's almost like the end of doing something in a particular way, or having the ego connected to it. So it is a bit like the Carrie Underwood song, Jesus Take the Wheel, and it's like, oh God, what are we doing here? Because it's, depending on what wave of twin you are, what will happen is you sort of feel like, is that okay? Is it divinely guided? Yes, it is. But by releasing it, it does mean that you're having faith. And, that can be quite testing, especially when we've had those old codependent energies. Hi, Carmen. Should have told me to take you been out, lady. Because your friends haven't been at your house as much as you said they would be. I didn't put you bin out. My friend Carmen is in Bali at the moment. So she's going to be gearing up ready. I thought, God, of all the places you could be for a blooming lunar eclipse, good on you. Okay, well, I have a life jacket ready in case, just be prepared. I'm joking. Okay, so yes, it is the blood moon tonight. You may find the weather patterns do get a bit erratic. So, when people are saying, oh my gosh, what does this mean? How is this going to directly affect me? You will see the weather patterns changing. Now, I am being shown that the energy, it's sort of, we're anticipating the lunar eclipse and saying, oh gosh, big changes. But I really do feel it's the pocket in between the lunar eclipse and the Lionsgate portal being the pocket of time that is going to be quite prominent for changes. Now, around that time, lots of us are going to hear from people from the past. And you know, if you were to stumble across news in the media, you will see different people dealing with the aspects of purging. Yeah, well, that's quite common, is tornadoes, hail, it can be earthquakes, can be cyclones, just strange weather. Definitely for us in Perth, we've had a lot of rain. Probably more so than we've had in a long time. Probably since the age of 9, I haven't seen rain to this level. So definitely it has been a lot wetter than usual, a lot more humid in some places. Okay, so collective energy. Now, many of us are going to feel sort of like chakra-related symptoms. Cleansing, yeah. So look, meditate. Try and meditate during the day. Try and keep to a liquid diet if you can, or increase your liquid content. Be aware of the weather. If you feel inclined to in the evening stay home all the time of it, do. Your headaches may increase as well, so it might be more time where you're going to have headaches. You may also find people reaching out to you and you're thinking, oh, good grief, you know, I'm really not okay myself. But it may, with where you are, what you need to understand is you're extremely important. Now, during the time when you're in separation, for those of you who are twins, what you will find is your family or your tribe in the 3D that you directly deal with, not just YouTube, your actual tribe, separate to YouTube. You may find, check in with them, okay? Because I have actually noticed this week a lot of masculine energy, and this is in general masculine energy. They're going through a great deal of purging. Now, this can be fathers, brothers, brother-in-laws, male energies. It is a collective thing. So although we're tuning into twin and we're concentrating on that, very much if you understand that you also are spiritual healers, and you know what your abilities are so much more than others, okay? The more enlightened you are as a human being, you're actually able to do a lot more and withstand a lot more. No, you don't want to, but you spiritually are actually able to, because your aspect of self-awareness is a lot higher than others. So pay attention to your surroundings and, you know, look out for it where it needs to be. I mean, today alone, yesterday, I had 3 male energies communicate with me that were from various walks of life, and they were expressing their energy of how they were spiritually feeling, and they were very lost and very confused, very much feeling quite panicked, almost like, is this ever going to end? You know, when is this energy going to end? It's just horrendous. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Some of the masculine energy, twin masculine energies, you might have found that the energy has gone quiet. Now, it's actually not quiet. It's going through a few stages, and I will get into that in a minute. You may find you'll have panic and headaches, and I feel the energies that most of you are going to get is going to be heavier at certain points. So it might be you have your whole day and it hits you at one point in the day, and for some of you it's happening more so at night time. This can be during the day, but you're going to find an increase in the evening where it's going to be more reflective during that time, because the times of the day where they have no interruptions is generally the end of the day. So the time frame of where that energy hits you is going to probably be more emotional during the night. There can be times of the day you do have like sort of the download of when you're receiving that energy from your feminine or masculine. Hello, JS. And during that time, it will be various energies you feel. It can be anything to panic, to headaches, to absolute sheer anger. Now, this has been leading up during the last 2-3 weeks. On the 27th, what I have experienced energetic-wise tuning into the masculines is their energy's changed. Leading into it, it's gone quiet. Now, the quiet can be, and when I meditated into it, they're really looking at a 3D situation they're currently in or dealing with, and a lot of questions have been popping up in their mind. They've actually been coming to a place where, and I have had a few people come to me with their downloads as well, and it was very interesting because it was what I was picking, so it was quite nice to have it confirmed. That they're intuitively looking at their life and they're actually thinking, gosh, am I going to be doing this in 10 years' time? And they're looking at a 3D situation of what they're doing, and they're actually seeing the reality of their situation, and they're looking at it going, wow, okay, it's almost like, yes, time is fluid, but from the masculine's perspective, they're very much looking at it in 3D time, okay? So they're hunters gatherers, and they're looking at it going, am I still going to be doing this in 10 years time? Gee, I can't foresee that. And that it's like these rose-colored glasses have been taken off, and they're looking at it, and they're actually quite frustrated by it, because now they're questioning the reason why they pursued certain roads of where it's brought them to right now, and that's made them quite cross. So it's been an aha moment for them. Another thing of what has been shown to me is a lot of you are feeling, is my twin awake? And I've had this discussion with many clients, and the one thing you need to understand is it does not even depend on what labor twin you are. The reality is, once you've met your twin, they are awake to the idea of knowing there is a spiritual connection. So it's never really been a question of they don't know you're their spiritual connection. The issue at hand is it's a challenge to accept. So it isn't that they don't know that you are the one, and it isn't that another person is better. It is very much, you challenge them. And again, the 3D nature of things directly challenges them, because depending on their walk of life and your walk of life, they're looking at it very 3D. Well, how do we fit into this puzzle together? We don't work. We're from two very separate worlds. Sometimes each of you can directly trigger each other, and it's not an intentional thing. And sometimes each of you can individually feel very judged, even though both of you mentally are actually judging yourselves harsher than you're judging each other, because you're simply not. It can be concern, really, where feminines very much are coming from the perspective of being the nurturer. So you directly are concerned for the well-beings of people around you, of children, of humans in general, even of twin. So you've always tried to keep the balance, but again, depending on which wave of twin you are, the first waves are very much coming to a very separate energy where the ego aspect of things has directly been released, and the control related dynamics are being released. Many of you will get to a stage where you're actually, doing your own thing, and 90% of the time you're fairly grounded, although you're still seeing areas in which you need to take your energy back and focus it more on self. Now, that is not to say that you don't have moments where you're not thinking about your twin. Some of you will feel quite odd about the energy and think, gosh, this is really strange. Why has this feeling just completely gone? And it's a very temporary energy you go through. It can flood back and forward, but it's there divinely guided so that you can actually release the ego, which is the codependency and the control related issues within it. And then you'll have a flood of emotion come back and a massive purge pretty much after that during that same day. So it's quite a unique energy. And again, I have had clients contact me and say, what is this energy going on? Why am I not feeling this? And I feel because I've already gone through that aspect of it, I'm quite aware of it being quite natural where it flows through. So it is quite nice to see the process of certain waves of twins coming through where they're feeling those energies and quite confused by them at the same time. It is quite normal, and it doesn't mean that it's set in stone. Yeah, we should have, eh? Well, we are the yo-yo. Yes, and I do feel some of us really have been. And I mean, leading into it, I've actually felt quite light. The heart chakra is going in a sense where there's heart palpitations, etc., and mild headaches. So, the fluid intake, etc., has been necessary for that. So the detox has been helpful. Okay, what else was I needing to tell you guys? Let me have a look at some of my notes. I've got 4 pages of notes. Okay, so they're definitely looking at where they're going, but they're very much looking at things from a 3D point of view. So they're very much looking at their finances, at what they're going to do. I do feel certain groups of twins that are in karmic relationships, which I don't really like to tune into it because I feel energetically, 90% of us, depending on what wave we are, what happens is something that is inside of you will morph outside of you too, especially in the twin flame journey, to help you learn and purge an aspect. So if your twin's in a karmic relationship, it may have been fears you directly held inside you, or blocks your twin had connected to connections, and they had to learn a karmic lesson in that cycle of where they were either investing incorrectly or not trusting in the process, or not using their power and stepping into it to be the person that they spiritually needed to be. And that'll be something they spiritually feel inside themselves. It won't be the intent or the expectation that the feminine has. It'll very much be an avoidance aspect where they've looked at it and they understand the transformation that needs to transpire within themselves, and that's at their personal level. But they have chosen spiritually at that point in time that they felt in their energy they were unable to do that spiritually. So they then would have retreated back to a point where they found a solution that they felt was more suited, or a slower way of that transition than had it been with you. So that's really part of the reason why they ended up in a karmic relationship, because they spiritually looked at the dynamic of what the change and the transformation had to be, and they felt they couldn't actually address those areas as quick as they spiritually would have liked to. So it was easier to do that in a very gradual kind of format. So a lot of the retreats that have happened this year has very much been connected to that. And the funny thing is, a lot of that group of twins are almost looking at situations, and if you had contact with your twin around those times, they're actually looking at their 3D life and seeing that a lot of what was thought of or discussed between the two parties, the masculine and the feminine, has already transpired, even though they avoided dealing with the conflict. Okay, so feminine may have actually had discussions with their twin in relation to certain areas, and what they're understanding and seeing now is a lot of what has transpired was within their control, but had transpired regardless of, whatever will or way they dealt with it, it occurred anyway. What else has been coming through? A lot of them are wanting to get to a place where they had wanted to have universe actually deal with the situation. So they almost gave an aspect of their power away. You're funny, Sarah. Where's Giggle? She was moderator on here. Oh. I was going to add you. How do I do it, Sarah? I'll try and add you. I don't think I can do it there. Hold up. I can't do it. I'll just get rid of him. What was I saying? A lot of them are looking at the situation and wondering how they've got themselves into this. But they're also asking bigger questions. They're looking at the point where they're saying, okay, can I foresee myself on this walk of path, what I've chosen, physically get to the point where I can do this for 10 years? Yes, animals are acting strangely, and I know my cat last night and the birds around are very silent. That is very common near a lunar eclipse. It affects them very differently to other species. There is definitely a very quiet energy. It's almost frighteningly quiet, the energy that we have here. It's too still. It feels very freaky. You're making me paranoid now. Okay, what else are they saying? I actually see groups of masculines very frustrated. Oh, my cat was weird. She was acting like she was on something. She was really strange. And I know that when they eat rats, they go a bit, but I mean, she was strange. I don't know what she was doing, but it was strange behavior. She's very calm at the moment, though. What was the other thing? I have seen owls. And spiritually speaking, what you guys are needing to know is you need to follow your intuition. You definitely, during this time, need to follow your intuition. Your intuition will be heightened at the moment, and things that you're intuitively feeling, you need to act upon them because they're giving you messages and downloads. Masculines they're getting very paranoid at the moment. There is a lot of paranoia going on. They're also very quiet in meditation. Is it just me or is there real strange energies around? Yeah, so I've been seeing owls. I've been seeing crows. I've been seeing 444, 414, 555, 888, 999. Definitely, it's like we are moving through that phase. We're moving through these scenarios. I am seeing the masculines get to a point where if they are in a karmic relationship, for those of you who it is relevant, what they're actually feeling is frustration towards the karmic energies. Now, they may not be even speaking to other people in relation to what they're spiritually feeling, but they're keeping it very quiet to a point where what their partner is saying and what they're physically feeling is very different. It's one of those nights. They're frustrated at some of the things that were communicated and, you know, sort of, how do I put it? These people on here are really irritating me. Okay, so for those of you who were in the connection at the beginning of the year and then you had the breakup, a lot of that pocket of twins, what they're directly feeling is they're looking at what the plan was and what the plan has become, and they're very stuck by that situation. They're almost to the point where they're in the 3D, they're getting the 3D reality of what maybe was agreed upon between you two, and the 5D, the spiritual sense between you two. They're visually seeing that situation, but now they're sort of looking at it like, Houston, we've got a problem. How do I directly, in labor room? Huh? Are you at a hospital? Oh, this is an interesting night. So they're looking at the 3D notion of the connection, but they're also looking at the spiritual aspect of the connection now. A lot of their friendships are coming to a place where they are feeling a non-connection to particular friendships. Now, it's strange because when you look at the journey that feminine has had, this is... Okay, Eleanor. Yeah, I did remember that. this is what's going on. Where you guys, depending on the wave between you are, as I said, and you'll find the first wavers would have already gone through this energy where you'd purged aspects of your friendships, you know, you changed your career. It's funny, it has really been a 360. Apart from the fact the masculines now are going through this energy, and it's almost like they're feeling very much that everything in their life is very foreign and not real, and it is a very frightening energy for them to. And I feel a lot of them have come through that aspect of, oh my gosh, what's happened. Now it's the reality check. It's like, wow, no, you don't relate to me, no, this doesn't relate to me. And it's the work, it's the friendships, it's the family related dynamics. And I feel they're going through these waves of changes where they're doing it in a lot more compressed point of view, where feminines would have done this over perhaps a whole year. It has been an ongoing cycle, but heavier, you know, in a pocket of 1 to 2 years for feminine energies in the first wave. Many of us are still working through that transition right now. Where you do come to a place where you spiritually do let go, it's divinely guided, and it shows you where you hadn't applied the energy in your own life. And it's, you will find it's very liberating to transfer the energy into your life and have that grounding. Some of you in the first wave are saying, well, hey, I've been single for a long time, so why therefore has my masculine not come to me? I do feel the answer is very much in the key of what you're doing in your life right now, and it can be directly connected to your tribe. So if there's unfinished business and you're a spiritual healer, you know, many of us go, okay, well, what's my purpose, sort of thing. You'll have to understand that a lot of who is in your 3D life right now is divinely guided for them to be there. You know, are you sidetracking and entering into connections when you know purely and spiritually a connection of which you should be in? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that because they're not there, you can't have a life. Yes, you can, and that's your choice, because it is freedom of choice. But something that can be blocking that aspect of the path is definitely in front of you in your 3D life. There is a key in front of you. So the way you're going to find it is, how are you relating to your environment? How are you relating to your life? You know, are you walking your truth? Are you doing everything spiritually you need to do in your own personal life? You know, doing the job that you feel comfortable in, getting your finances and, you know, all of those aspects grounded. Your family related dynamics, have you kept them at that balance, or have you dealt with the wounds connected to that situation? Are you in a connection? If you're in a connection, you know, are you spiritually connected to that connection, and are you invested? Have you detached and cut the umbilical cord, so to speak? Because if you haven't and you're sitting there and you're saying, where's my twin? Well, you know, it's getting to a point where you spend a pocket of time solo, and that can mean, you know, no connection of asexual nature, I'll just say it. And that's so that you can really own being you, really own loving who you are and what you're doing, and doing the internal work. If you are spiritually in a connection, it's not that it's wrong, it's just you to a degree, you know, are choosing a new path, and there's something obviously on that path that you're needing to learn, and therefore that's why twin has not come. Now, others of you who, you know, are doing solo work, there are connections around you that you are working with, but it's helping develop you yourself. You're also letting go of those energies of the lower frequencies of the codependency and the control, and you're just releasing it. But at times you're still falling back over old ground, and you're feeling, well, should I, you know, have a relationship? What am I doing? How am I waiting? And the funny thing is, the more into that energy you get, where you're accepting of the connection, the more it will spiritually flow. But I do very much feel that for many twins, part of the block in the actual union is having 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out. You know, so yes, there's the process where, you know, you meet your twin at the beginning, and then there is that separation. And for some, no, that doesn't happen. That happens at the very end. But it can even be a falling out with the energy. It can be very subtle depending on where you spiritually are at. And definitely there are pockets of twins who haven't been sexually intimate, and they have been, you know, standing in front of each other for many, many years and not even acknowledging it. Yet after that fact, what you will find is with the acknowledgement, the love and the connection was always there. So don't feel that because it hasn't been spoken of, that it isn't there. Yes, it is. You know, intuitively, you know, with your head and your heart, and you have trust in that connection. And yes, it will be revealed. What I have found through the journey is feminines, if you're coming into the connection at the frequency where the masculine is not at that correct frequency, very much it's still in the codependent energy stage. Okay, so when you do come into it, what you will find is you tolerate more. You tolerate more crap. So, and it's you love your twin, so you want to be with your twin, but it's, you know, spiritually that it probably won't be balanced, but you keep trying regardless. So what is happening, you theoretically have one foot in the door and one foot out. Okay, that's when it's not going to work. It is all or nothing very much. And yes, it is a risk, but that is why the breakup comes. But masculine will be doing that too. So, and that can be even if you have a person that you hold on to at a spiritual level and you're thinking, oh, you know, should I go in? Should I go out? But spiritually, if you are half in the door and half out, it's problematic. Anyway, so a lot of the energies that people are going to be feeling is letting go of the old. You may find that people are more agitated at the moment. There can be a lot more road rage. There can be a lot more agitation. A lot more people that maybe we're dealing with habits, having regressions on that, falling back over old ground. Just be gentle with yourselves during that time. Also, spiritually speaking, you may feel energies of past over loved ones around more so. Yeah. So spiritually speaking, if you're holding on to another person while you're, how do I put it? One foot in the door, one foot out, it becomes problematic. So I do feel you've got to look at your 3D situation. Then don't. Take every day as it goes. Yeah, look, the good thing is, well, it's got a heart on it, number one, and it glows in the dark, so I'm not roadkill. Okay, so that's why I wear it, right? I'm a big kid. It's just me. It's got a skull on the hoodie too. I must have been Mexican in a previous life. Because I love my tequilas. And I love my chili. Okay, now some of the things I've been seeing during the week have been strange, and I started putting a piece of a puzzle together. Hi, Dari. How on earth do I add you as a moderator? Let's see if I can do it now. Report remove, put user in timeout. No, I don't want to put you in timeout. I did it yesterday. Why isn't it working? I'll have to do it next time, Dari. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so I have been seeing owls. I have been seeing groups of birds in twos. I do have a feeling that some of you probably within the next... look, I feel closely there is an energy of a feeling, a change. Yay, your hair. Now you can take over. Thanks. I'll have to add Dari after. I can do it on the computer. I just can't do it from the telephone. Okay, so what I'm finding is between the 27th and the Lionsgate portal, I feel a lot of you will have either some sense of change. Now, this is going to be on the masculine side. They may actually spiritually choose to communicate with you. Another aspect of things will be something will be changing within their circle, within their direct situation on a 3D level. There's definite changes though. Now, when you hear, other readers saying coming into union, try not to just stick that down to gospel. Get it to the point where you understand, depending on where you are in the journey, it's not going to be all smooth sailing. You're not just, to me, union is where you're physically going into it. Hi, Jenny. And you're like, it's done. It's a done deal. Look, we're not magic. We're human beings. We're here in the 3D. It's going to be work getting into it. Yes, you spiritually having that time out is going to help you purge a lot of the old energy, which is kind of frustrating because it means that you energetically, if you've been peeved off, aren't going to go into a boxing ring, but it's a healthier way of dealing with things, quite frankly. So it's giving you the time to purge some of the hurt. It's not gone. It's not that it's not going to be addressed. It will very much need to be addressed because some aspects of changes do need to come about. And that is very much who you are and what has been happening on your journey. Now, when you look at karmic energy, it does not have to be a physical person. And 9 times out of 10, it's actually not related to a physical person. So when you see the 3 of Swords, don't get cooped up in your mind thinking, oh my gosh, does that mean, that they're cheating or they've got something like that going on. It can be a job that they're in love with, and especially the married ones, the married twins, they're actually quite married to their job. And I'm sorry to say that, but they're married to their job. For those group of twins that have a twin in a marriage, what you will find is their energy can, it's so funny. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm saying it. I'll just say it. Okay, they were utilizing their job to cope with their karmic. So those of them who were married, it felt like a responsibility. It was what was right. It was what was politically correct because they were in the dynamic. And I don't know why I keep laughing, but it seems so funny because they're coming to this realization. Derry's probably laughing at me right now. That, because I was channeling it last night. Now, what they're finding is, oh, you're a bitch. They're looking at their karmic and it's almost like the way they eat, the way they move. They had hoped it would have been different, okay? They had hoped the transition of that connection would have expired. And when I say expired, they might have stayed due to the karmic being unwell or the karmic being older. They may have even stayed due to what society felt or the children. Now, what they're finding is the karmic relationship they're in, and I know a few people are in this dynamic, they're looking at them eating their dinner and they're like, why do you chew your food that way? I hear this energy where they're physically looking at their karmic partner and the way they eat is irritating them. So they're actually not enjoying their meals. They're not enjoying their meals. They're finding it very problematic to get through their meal at night time. It's like it's become eat, pray, repeat, but that's killing them. And now, on top of that, the energy where their work was their saving grace because they were very passionate about their job, that was their tool of escapism. That also is no longer working, where they're getting to a point they don't even really like being at work. So they're now having a realization that they have to directly deal with the 3D notion of, what is going on in this situation, and it's directly impacting them. So even if they weren't wanting to address it, the fact of the matter is they're visually seeing some things that need to change, and they'd hoped that universe was going to change it, but now they're realizing they're going to have to use their power. Now, the other ones of you who have a twin who is in and out, and you guys may be the second waves, okay? You might be the first, but you may be the second. Now, those of you who have a twin who is in and out and doing drive-bys, making phone calls and then hanging up. Very random behavior, but yes, we've all been there. They're actually frustrated because you've taken your power back and they don't quite know how to deal with that. They're not used to that. They're acting like they don't want you, but their behavior's acting like they do. You guys are going to have some options coming up if you haven't already. We're getting there. Okay, so those of you who do have this group of twin going on, okay, this masculine. Now, this masculine is keeping an eye on you guys. He's keeping an eye on you via drive-bys, social media. How else would I say? Asking through the grapevine of what you're doing. Very paranoid behavior, very cross, but they're actually very cross with themselves because they don't like the feeling that you're making them have. They don't like the fact that you've taken their power back, your power back, you know. You are worried about them, but you're really not. And it's not that you don't care. It's just you can't have the same equation. So you're getting to a point you're focused more on your own personal energy. So that's frustrating them. But a lot of energy is changing and they're actually very frustrated about how to deal with this. Let's see what's coming through. Need to make some more room. So how are we all? Anyway, as I'm pulling the cards. It's okay. No, you're not, Heather. That is a normal thing to go through. Trust me, every twin flame will get to a point where you think, am I the karmic? Are they the twin and am I the karmic? No, okay? You wouldn't have got down this far of the journey. And it's good because it's helping you delay. But no, you wouldn't be that lucky. Look, even twins are karmics. They're lessons. But if the person has been coming back to you on and on and on and on, no, you're the twin, okay? You're the twin. Yeah, there are highs and lows. But again, it will be, and the way to distinguish between what's your energy and what your twin is very much if you're going through your day and your energy is one level, if out of nowhere another energy comes in and you feel a certain way, that's very much the energy of twin. I have to read that. I've been wondering. Yeah, no, every twin goes through that. Don't get paranoid. Every twin goes through a stage where you go, am I the bloody karmic? We all are karmics. Even as the twin, we're a karmic energy because we're learning something from the situation. But no, if you've been in and out and you're having downloads, you're picking up their vibration, no, you're the twin. No. No, honey, it's okay. It's a natural thing to come in your head. I feel if... No contact is part of the twin flame connection. It's to purge the codependent energy. I had years where there was no contact and back again. I ain't dead yet. Somebody asked me, are you alive? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I'm still here. Yeah. Anytime, Rose. Don't stress. Okay, let's see the energies for both sides. Okay, now this week I've seen a black apple, which is really strange because, you know, through my twin flame journey, I sarcastically said, I was going to get a tattoo on my back and it was going to be a black apple. And my mother said to me, why are you going to get that? I said, because I'm the black sheep of the family. And of course, I always connected the black apple to Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Adam and Eve. And then, of course, I started seeing images of Adam and Eve everywhere. And then I opened a video that was on my browser, and it was Adam and Eve and the reality of Black Moon Lilith. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Now, originally, Adam and Eve, Adam was made a wife, and the first wife he was not happy with. Now, the second wife was made, and her name was Lilith, and she left him and would not obey him. And it's quite funny because it's quite synchronistic in the twin flame kind of journey when you think about it. Now, the ultimate perfect one, which was the first wife, which was, we're going to do twin flame. What was I saying? Okay, so Black Moon Lilith, if you look at her, she actually has a snake in her arm. Now, the reason she rebelled and walked away is because she didn't want to be told what to do, which sounds like a woman twin flame, doesn't she? They did make her into a demon technically, but when you look at it, she had the feminine and the masculine energy. So is she an aspect of our shadow side where really we have the yin and the yang? We have the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And she didn't want to be told what to do. So, you know, however you want to look at it, you can. But again, there was a trio. There were 2 females and 1 male. And very much in the dynamic, that's pretty much how the twin flame journey goes through at some point in time. Because they're trying to work out what was ultimately correct for them. They knew what was correct for them. And the apple, when you cut the apple in half, it's a star, which is directly connected to the sun. The sun is a star. Again, spirituality, okay? So the connection of the apple, I saw Adam and Eve being offered the fruit of temptation. And I do feel feminines are awake now. So it's like the awakening after the sleeping, and that's why I was seeing the apple. Unfortunately, the masculines picked the wrong apple. They were given the gift of a red apple, but they took the black apple. So they're seeing the poisons for the fruit, and they're realizing that what they have in front of them is not as ripe as it could be. I'll leave it at that, shall I? But yeah, it's very much the yin and yang. And the crazy thing is, even some people have come to me, children come through to me through a couple of my friends, and they were having visions and nightmares 3 days ago. They were talking about the moon and the ring. And really, when you look at it, the moon and the sun is coming to the eclipse, which is why I'm saying the apple and the star. Anyway, let's have a look at what's going on with the cards. Feminines. Okay. You're feeling not correctly aligned right now. You will come to a place where this card can turn around, okay? This is about you feeling, although you need to correct your alignment. That can be with your symptoms and that. It's in reverse because we're going through the lunar eclipse. So, you know, just be gentle with yourself going into it. You're being very critical of your progress. You're not allowing it to be okay to be not perfect. Just let that be. That's part of the process. You're also very aware of the laws of attraction, okay? But just be okay with everything the way it is. And know the laws of attraction are bringing your twin towards you. So most of the work that you need to do is directly onto self. the more you get into that frequency and you realize that the work you need to do is on self, the more situations balance out, especially when you're letting go. And you're trusting in your intuition of when to contact, when not to contact, when to do the work in your life. Follow your internal compass. It's going to guide you correctly. If you're coming from a place of fear, it's not guiding you correctly because that's ego based. If it's coming from a heart place and a mind place without an aspect of expectation, yes, it's coming from your higher place. Okay, at the moment you're feeling you can't get the attention back on yourself. No matter what you do, it's like something's coming at you. Now, you are going to be able to do this after the lunar eclipse. Don't get too paranoid at the reasons why you're unable to at the moment, when clearly before that you were able to. So just really meditate through that and know that it is divinely guided and everything's going to be balanced. There you go. It's through the ascension process, through the lunar eclipse. So it is a part of what you guys are going through. It is changing you. A lot of you are probably going to have some very vivid dreams in the next 48 hours. I do feel as though you will be having very odd dreams. They can be connected to your twin. The sexual energy is going to increase as well, like an activation through the Kundalini. After the fact, what you're going to find is you're going to feel quite liberated. You're going to feel like you're stepping into a different world. Now, in this world, what you're saying is you're realizing through the transformation, no more sexual energy. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're going to get more sexual energy. What you're going to find is that you wouldn't want to go back to the old. The more comfortable you get with it, what you'll find is you don't want to go back to the old, because that is an old chapter. That was an old story. Your story is yet to be written, and you become more comfortable with the aspect of the new story coming. Whatever you want that new story to come, you can have, and you're going to come to that manifestation point. That manifestation point is going to be more guided and more... you will be more able to do that where you're grounded. During it, if you're having any trigger points, you can purge that energy, but coming through it when you're grounded is when you're actually able to manifest. And it's very much from a knowing of a place of you're creating, and it's so. But when you're purging and you're triggered and you're going through the ascension, it's very difficult to have that aspect of a manifestation. It's almost the complete thought of it and releasing it where it's okay and it's grounded, okay? So it's been heavy for you guys, feminines, because you've been carrying a lot. You've almost felt as though a lot of you guys have been regressing over old ground and looking at it thinking, why have you done this to me? How could you do that to me? Then it's been very grounded for a while. Others of you are still having that soul shock connected to what has transpired, why something happened, and why they did things in the way they did. Some of you have been having flashes connected to the third party situation, and that has been very uncomfortable for you guys. I do feel the closer to the Lionsgate portal, if you're able to release those energies, it's not you're going to forget. I'm not going to lie to you. It becomes less, it becomes lighter, where the energy will kind of fall away. You will get to a point where you're sort of more living in the energy field of the 5D than the 3D, and knowing why things happened. Now, it's not, you will feel different, and trust me on that, okay? Now, I'm like keeping you. Yeah, I agree. So from the 3D level of things, you can look at it and you can say, okay, that's what you're doing, that's sweet, but I'm here. But some of you have even been thinking about other things connected to that, i.e. STDs and situations like that. Okay, you guys are going through the ascension though. You're moving up. You're becoming enlightened. You're getting grounded, and you're having a spiritual clearing. It may feel for some of you it's like you're turning over a new leaf completely. Let's see what else you guys are going through. Good girl, Dari. I was very happy last night. I was talking to Dari and she said a few things, and I'm like, Dari's home. Yes. Welcome back. Welcome home, Dari. She took a power back last night. It was so beautiful to watch. It's just getting your moral compass on track, your life compass on track. And when you do that, you know you have the connection, okay? But then when you move to the point, you say, right, and it is, as feminines we get to a point when we're looking at things on the 3D, and it is okay to feel like a victim. It's okay to feel angry. Where's my twin? Why aren't they here? The good paradigms of the 3D, of wanting traditional relationships. Man, hunter-gatherer, feminine, nurturer, I'll make the dinner, etc. However the old paradigms were. Well, part of us is still part of that, right? But then part of us directly isn't, because that's not what our soul path was. So, when you're getting to that place where you're looking at your 3D life thinking, I've been happily waiting for you up in this castle and you haven't lobbed up, where the fuck are you? Yeah, you do get to that point. You feel terrible and devastated. And then after a while, you look at the devastation around you and you're like, well, I guess it's a bit like breaking a cup. And then you're looking around going, oh, I've got to clean this shit up now, don't I? So that's what we get to. We clean it up. Now, feminines are becoming inspired, all right? You're also realizing that every journey does start with packing your bags and getting ready to move forward. But guess what? They don't know where that ticket takes them. And that's why some of you may feel a bit, ugh. The more you guys have got to this point where you find the suitcase, the excitement, the more you jump into your journey and you feel that everything's divinely guided regardless, and you can end up at the correct road anyway, and everything energetically will feel perfect and spiritually calm. So you, depending on where you are in that journey, okay? The freedom comes from within, and yes, it is. When you realize that a lot of what we were giving to masculine was energies of our childhood, and we do the work in that, we realize that they could have never given us that anyway. We had to give that to ourselves. So that part is divinely guided. The trigger points they give us, however, is very different. So the trigger points they've given us is for us to then, go and lick our wounds sort of thing, and we sit there thinking about it. And the work I've spiritually found I've done over the years has definitely shown me that these wounds, if we don't release them, we can't come home to ourselves. Okay? And, by us caring for ourselves, even I've noticed of late, I used to give the metaphor about the feminines having a code word for each time maybe a mindset a parent had, where they would give them advice. And it's not that parents' advice is wrong. It's that you should, from an adult point of view, spiritually speaking, be coming from your own mind's point of view. If you're still coming from your parents' perspective, you actually are not owning your life and your compass. You very much need to be coming from your own mindset and heart set, okay, and your own new belief systems of who you are spiritually. So when you're coming from that aspect, and you're very much walking in your truth, you are spiritually home. So, and that does take a lot of work. And even me, at times I need to really have that check and say, hang on a minute, are you coming from you, or are you coming from your parents' perspective? Because you have to own it, live it, and walk it. Okay, now there is movement, but the movement is very much world changing. Financially speaking, feminines are going to be focused on their finances, still moving towards making some big dreams happen, realizing the beauty and the power that you have, and very much knowing that you are a beautiful sexual being and you are worthy of love and abundance. But also, there you go, you get old lunar eclipse. There is going to be change. And for many of you, there is the twin connection, the communication. the communication of what went wrong, what happened. Hello, are you okay? Can we talk? You know, and it can be telepathically, it can be via text, via email. I feel the ones that are married, don't be surprised if it's email. You're a dag. You make me laugh. But it's going to be communication. But do you know, I feel the more you are in your own journey, feminines, I feel it will be an easier aspect of communication, because you get to the point where you're quite happy about talking about your dreams. Talking about your dreams of where you're going, what you're doing, how great your life's going, because you're getting your life together and you made all these plans. You're still working on healing your wounds. You're not done yet. You're still working on healing those wounds. You know, you're tired. This card's in reverse. You're tired of things not coming to fruition in the pretty colour that they should have been in the twin flame connection. You're tired of that. So this is what you've had to do. You've had to move your energy back on you. And yeah, definitely that communication. Perhaps even the realisation that you guys are twins. Which they always realised. They just, you know. Now, through this point, moving towards the time of the Lionsgate portal and the lunar eclipse, you need to be releasing things and getting to a point where, I was trying to check the time, a few hours yet, getting to a point where you do some meditation. Also coming to a place where you release and you paint a picture. Outcome. Positive, beautiful peace. Keep thinking peaceful things. Keep feeling loving things. If you can't tune into your masculine, tune into love. Love in general, to keep the vibration high. There you go. And inspiration. You guys may have been seeing a lot of bees around. I've been bombarded by love hearts. It's driving me crazy. Bees and love hearts and owls, 2 owls, 2 crows, 444, 222. It's like, oh, headaches, purging. Okay, masculines. What are you guys doing? Okay, okay, the reason why some of you guys might have been feeling, how do I put it, might have been feeling is this my twin. Now, they're actually going, how have I got these connections with everyone? Like, what are these connections, okay? This could go on and on in my life, and that was exactly what I was saying before. This pattern could go on and on to the end of time, but this person's in my head still to infinity. But it's like, why does this person keep coming into my mind? Yet I keep recreating your relationships. Why does this one person keep coming into my mind? Just keeps going on and on forever. Old patterns and old relationships also, how do I put it? It's old karmic things that they're actually purging at this point in time. And again, I'm being shown it is near the Lionsgate portal. Their connections are from previous lives, but they were connections that you guys pre-picked prior to coming here for them to learn these karmic lessons. Now, karmic lessons don't have to be bad lessons, okay? Karmic doesn't have to be bad. It can be good. It can be balancing of energies. You know, your energy might have been a different sex in a previous life. Who knows? Regression work, we can check. Okay. That's very interesting because, yes, we do. I know. But you'll understand at the end of it. I'll explain later. Okay, it's really strange because if you can see here, when I was meditating, this is exactly what I was seeing in my meditation, the grid. A grid floating in the air. It wasn't pink, obviously. It was kind of like a yellowy colour. Now, they're seeing that their energy is not benefiting by them working in a particular way. Our varied behavior adds to the planet's well-being. They're wondering and asking themselves where their life, they're wondering their purpose, okay? And again, this is what Feminine was wondering a while ago. You know, what is my purpose? Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing here? A lot of your life of who's in front of you will be you were brought to that crowd, to that group to change their frequency. And I hate to break it to you guys, you challenged your friendships, Feminine. Am I correct? Masculines are about to do the same with their friendships, because what has outgrown them, the way in which they're going to educate their friendships is by displaying a different behavior. So now they're coming to a point where they're thinking, I don't even belong to this group. I'm so out of this group, it's not funny. Yet for so long they were looking at Feminine like Feminine was the one out of the group, but Feminine was already out of her group. Oh, this is a funny journey. It is a funny journey, isn't it? So they're actually coming to a place, they're looking at their friendships, and some of them are actually getting to the point where they don't relate. They don't feel that connection. People that they got on with for years, it's like, I don't relate. They just like that. It's like, bang, gone. So they're looking at their relationships and their connections. They're also looking at the connection they're having with you. They're looking at the world and what they feel they should be doing within the world, and they're wanting to reassess that, reestablish that, because they don't want to waste their energy. They want that sense of purpose. They feel they don't have that sense of purpose in that frequency of doing the same shit every bloody day. They also are understanding that their mindset is directly impacting the way they are having relationships. So they've also noticed when they're having a nice day, everyone around them is really nice. And then when they're having a shitty day, everyone around them is really nasty. They're noticing how their behavior directly impacts people and things around them. And they're seeing the fact that they're part of it. Wow. Okay. By default, I could have attracted unwanted relationships. So they did do this on purpose. And the funny thing is, there's two birds. There's the black and the white, the yin and the yang. But they have the choice, and they did it because they felt not worthy of you. And that's what I said at the very beginning of the reading. They didn't do it to spite you, okay? They literally did it to spite themselves, because they knew they know what they want, but they also know that the old has to go. And that's like a self-death. That's what you've got to understand. To let go of all you knew that kept you safe, you know, as a human being, it is like saying goodbye to you. You're saying goodbye to you. So when you say, well, why couldn't they? Like, am I not, like, worth it? You're letting you die. Do you understand that? It's everything you spiritually and physically knew in your life and your world, gone. That's huge. That's sometimes for twins, that's too soon. That's like, they're mourning their death. They're mourning their spiritual death of who they were before. Yeah, and it's really sad, because you're saying goodbye to the person you used to be. And what kept you safe through all these years as a human being, the walls that you built, you know, that was an investment. You invested so heavily, and you're looking at all the things that you had built up in your life, wanted to create, and you're looking at grains of sand in your hand and you're saying, is that all I have to show for it? I mean, that's really why they got to where they are. Yeah, but that's what they believed they were inside, so they're having to release that now. Okay, let's see what they're going to do in the next 3 days. But definitely I can see them really, they know now, okay? They definitely know. the actual eclipse is affecting them. It's making them feel a little bit unwell, some of them. Okay, the relationship, if they're in a codependent relationship, is making them unwell, a karmic one. What they've done is making them feel unwell. Hi, Andrew. Their life is making them feel unwell, especially the transformation. And some of you might even start getting nauseous tonight, so be prepared for that too. Okay, them also looking at their life, they're now on that spiritual journey. They're walking forward and knowing that, you know, if they want to create something, and that the sexual energy that some of you might be picking up on, the sacral chakra, the creative aspects, that's going to come through in the masculine. You might receive that energy as a download, but it's because they're going to start becoming more creative with what they're doing with their life, what they're needing to tie up in an aspect of loose ends. They're also saying goodbye to the past, saying goodbye in some shape or form. Not only, and this can be to people that are passed over, children, exes, karmics, you know, friendships. They're saying goodbye. So it's a lot of, you know, old energy that they're releasing. It can be travel for some of them, but it feels more a spiritual travel. Okay. They're in their heads at the moment about two options. They know that any partnerships they've had in the past very much was they attracted them because they felt they deserved that. So, but they're also manifesting love in from you. For those of them who had a sweetheart, they're wondering why and what to do. They don't feel that it can be healed. I don't feel it can be fixed. And they feel it's hard work. And they feel there's no hope in it. Okay. They're going to, okay, they spiritually feel as though, yeah, well, Giggles here, is she going to hex and beast them? Okay, they're coming out of a place where they are feeling in despair. Bye. And so energetically, they don't want to be like, they're moving past the point where they're feeling like a victim. They're looking at their life, and that's a harsh word, but they're getting to the point they're actually looking at their life and they're thinking, okay, what do I want to do from here? They don't want to be old before they make some life changes in their life. They're tired of feeling that they're in the same frequency and same energy, and they do spiritually actually want to move themselves forward to have a different life. They don't want this connection between you guys to die. You're watching the reading. They want a... some of them are actually meditating on having a child with you guys. They're wondering if you're going to receive them correctly or you're going to be angry. They're tired of the lessons as well, guys. So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm tired of the lessons, they're very tired of the lessons. They're like, if I have to learn anything more, they're going into their higher selves. But they're questioning whether they have the ability to actually be a soldier, but they're not needing to be. They just need to make choices that are healthy and happy for themselves. Whatever's going to make them spiritually happy is all they need to do. They're judging themselves harsher than what the feminine is. Okay, now I'm going to rephrase that. Those of you who have been hurt, that's the energy you're in now. In general, you weren't judging them at the level they were judging themselves. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. Okay, we're in retrograde. Don't bite me. Okay, they are wanting to take this connection to the next level. They are thinking about that spiritual soul contract. They also know that things haven't come together yet, and that they're aware that anytime you guys tried, or the road in general, anytime you guys had tried, it kept remaining the same, and that's really hurt you. So they know the way they've got to come is very different. They don't want to come in with misfortune, they want to come in with clean slate. They're doing the work. Even if you guys aren't hearing from them, okay, they're doing the work. There may not be communication, and they want to change it so it can be consistent. You've got to take what works, what relates, MK. Okay, too many. They know they need to come in without it being fake. I know he is following me too. Cool. Thank you. Any questions while I'm here? I am feeling though that they are definitely looking at their life, and if the energy is becoming quiet, it's because they're reflecting. If they are in a karmic situation still, they may just be going with the flow, but spiritually checked out of it, regardless of being there in the 3D with them. But that I do hear they have a time in mind as for when that is going to dissolve. I already feel they have a date in their mind and a reason in their mind. Okay? If you're wanting a booking, I will put the link directly below. If you're feeling generous and you wish to donate, donate. Where now? They will be. Yay. I have a video to do for a person who purchased one. I've got to do it tonight and get it out tomorrow. I've been flat out. Yes, I have. It's quite pink hair at the moment. It's pink and grey. It's quite strange. There has been haze and fog. And I'd say a storm is coming because my sinuses always get reacted when a big storm's coming in. Very hazy and smoky. It's deadly quiet. I mean, I cannot state that enough. It is deadly quiet. That to me shouts earthquake, volcano. Really? Keep safe, Mike. You've been feeling excited. Yeah, look, just go with the flow with how you're feeling. Don't psychoanalyze it too much. If you feel like you want to sit back and think about things or be alone, just do that. It's a great time to manifest projects. It's a great time to really sit back and act. And this is twin or not twin. It's a great time to look at your life and say, okay, what do I want to do from here? What is happening in this new chapter? It's so funny that you said Netherlands. I watched this video on YouTube today, and it was this guy, and he put himself in a ball and went from England to Netherlands in the ball with an air tank. And it was like, why would you do that? It was a very funny video. Well, it is, but look, when you hurt, it's purely natural, okay? It is purely natural to purge and feel crap when you're in that MK. So, but it's also a point where you need to join the world, okay? So be part of the world and, you know, enjoy that. 3 hours of darkness. Well, it's strange because they said it will be 4 hours, but yet the time frame here is going to be 6. It's like, are you serious? Yeah, so just be gentle with yourself and be okay to do the purging. You know, if you need to heal, that is the way you release things. By staying all perfect and, you know, let's be Buddhist monk, let's get real. If you need to, yeah, I know. If you need to let go of things. You have to cry. That's being human. I don't know if I'm going to see the eclipse. It's currently 11 o'clock. I don't know. I'm actually quite curious what it'll look like. Theoretically, mine's hitting at 1:45 a.m. I'm quite curious, is the sky going to light up, or like theoretically it's nighttime? Like, someone educate me here. And nobody's told me, so I'm actually curious. Like, is it going to be bright? You will always have love. No sun for 3 hours. Yeah. Oh, wow. Strange. Yes, good old blood moon. No. And now my cat started. Thank you. You're not going out. You're going into hibernation. Your energy's very down today, MK. I can feel your frequency. You need a big hug. You serious, sunflower? God, I'm glad I got my candles. Yeah. You feel amazing, Giggle. Well, theoretically, you got to have a particular way to view it. I will be happy to meditate. Well, I've actually been quite productive for 3-4 weeks. I've been fiercely working behind the scenes on some things. The videos for August will be opened on the 1st, and I have recorded mid-month as well, and it will be a regular thing, so you will get a mid-month video. And I will try and add other ones as I go, but I'm trying to get organised so that I can do other styles of readings. I'll always give you hugs, Sunflower Girl. Okay, guys. Well, I will love you and leave you. Try and keep grounded. And make it out the other side. Very much look after yourselves. And I'll talk to you all later. Like I said, if you're wanting to share the video, share, like and subscribe. If you want to donate, you can donate. Otherwise, I will see you later. Bye, guys.